I live with my dad and I wanna help her out. So speed, I need this. My mom is kinda homeless. I live with my dad and I wanna help her out. So
We are here in Zambia at the Devil's Pool. I'm about to swim to the edge. Woo! Zoom! Yes! Holy crap, we at the edge like it's on, baby. Let me bring y'all with me. Woo! Oh my God! Holy crap! Woo! Devil's Pool in Africa. Turn me up, baby. This is crazy. This is insane, y'all. We might fall off. I don't think I'm ever doing this again. We are here in Zambia at the Devil's
I spend all of the life I saved. We were always a losing game. Small town boy in a big arcade. I got addicted to a losing game. I spend all of the life I saved. We were always a losing game. Small town boy in a big arcade. I got addicted to a shift my paradigm. I'm drifting from my innocence. I wanna be a kid.
These are the rarest photos in human history. This is what the human body would look like without muscles. The last moments of a man who broke into a tiger enclosure after losing a bet with his friends. The exact moment the parents of an astronaut saw her rocket explode in the air. Scientists spotted a blonde seal being completely rejected by its family for no apparent reason. A man with tentacle-like growths under his tongue after being born 3 months premature. A lion found what looked like a mini punching bag in the middle of the savannah and decided to hit it hard. This is the reason why pregnant women don't get MRIs. A fisherman went back
What would happen if you were raised by iShow Speed? Day 1. Speed finds you abandoned outside a Walmart in Ohio. He picks you up, looks at you, and screams. Not from shock, just because. You start crying. He screams louder. This is how you bond. Year 2. You learn to walk by chasing him around the house while he streams. You fall. He clips it. It gets 4 million views. Your first viral moment, and you're not even talking yet. Year 4. He teaches you how to react to everything. Angry loud at full volume. Butterfly lands on your arm. You scream like it's a demon. Speed says that's the most normal reaction he's ever seen. You feel proud. Year 6. He takes you to your first soccer game. You've never kicked a ball in your life, but you've watched him cry over Ronaldo 1,000 times. When someone scores, you don't cheer. You weep full tears, hands on your knees. The whole stadium stares. Speed is recording. He's also weeping. You both don't know why. Year 9. He tries to teach you to cook. You eat a Carolina Reaper on a dare. Your vision goes white. Your nose runs. Your soul briefly leaves your
Your fake ass.
That's my hug.
Oh. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Between the two of you.
See, we agree.
I'm sorry. I just think that shit goes.
Is he the only one?
We're talking.
Is he the only one?
Whoa, I know we stream. You gotta chill.
We got you. I know we stream.
Yeah, queen though.
Hey, honey, your liquor. I know we streaming, but honey is.
I'm good. She a queen?
No. Chill out. She's married. Look, we got 2 beautiful girls on. Come on, let's go. Hey, he's.
Come around. I think I'm finna be respectful. His wife up for grabs.
Hey, he's been mad disrespectful. Hey, did you get Larry? Did you get the address?
I got the address. Yeah.
Hey, don't be mad disrespectful. Come on, man.
Good.
Listen, I know we streaming.
Hands, bro.
This.
We're doing the hands.
This.
You You ready for them 100 gifted? 200
This
gifted?
nigga.
Listen.
You ready for them 200 gifted?
This is my kingdom come. My heat, look into.
Yeah, that's not getting shot. That's getting back shots. I think you got a little bit confused. You're supposed to act like you got hit with a bullet, not hit from the back. So.
Oh, Princess, I hear it's your birthday. Of course, Daddy remembered.
It's not my birthday, and you're not my daddy. And I don't like the way you just clapped your feet. So can you please get away from... What is that? What are you doing?
Day 38 of not showering because I'm trying to stop climate change.
That's great, Becky, but you can't fix the environment when you're becoming radioactive. 38 days? Take a shower, Stinky! Oh my god, I can smell you.
This is my kingdom come. My heat, look into.
Yeah, that's not getting shot. That's getting back shots. I think you got a little bit...
What if school grading system was removed? The outcome will surprise you. Minute 1, the announcement is made. Grades are gone. No A's, no B's, no rankings. Students are shocked, then excited. The pressure instantly disappears. Week 1, classrooms feel calmer. Students ask more questions. They focus on understanding instead of worrying about scores. Participation starts to increase. Month 1, students begin helping each other. Collaboration grows. Without competition, learning becomes more relaxed. Teachers give more detailed feedback. Year 1, students discover subjects they truly enjoy. Creativity improves. Projects become deeper. Learning feels more meaningful and less stressful. Year 5, schools focus on growth and real skills. Confidence rises. Students learn at their own pace. Education becomes less about numbers and more about learning. What if school grading system was removed? The outcome will surprise you. Minute 1, the announcement.
How to tell if your man's really cheating. And this is how you know, y'all. This is how you know.
How? What?
I can't see your phone.
Who said you couldn't see my phone?
Why are you holding your phone so tight?
Because I didn't want it to break. What if you pulled it and just slipped out my hand?
It wasn't slipping out my hand. It wasn't slipping out my hand.
What are you talking about? Why can't you just ask?
He definitely got something to hide on his phone.
And
this is why I tell y'all to do it when your man's awake, so you.
I bet I can make you smile. Just give me 5 seconds. Watch this. Smile if you would date me.
A bitch like me, you will never see.
So dangerous. She's fighting demons. Doesn't look real. I have no words.
I love is my boyfriend. His name is Josh. I call him Joshy or baby boy or...
I bet I can make you smile. Just give me 5 seconds. Watch this.
This woman is driving her 3 children to the hospital, and she's going as slow as she can because all 3 of them have been shot. Her 7-year-old is dying in the back seat. Her 3-year-old son is bleeding out, and her 8-year-old daughter has a bullet in her chest. When she finally pulls up to the emergency room, she tells the doctors a bushy-haired stranger flagged her down on a rural road and shot her whole family. He even shot her in the arm, so police need to investigate. They search the road looking for the stranger, but they can't find him, so they put out a description. They even interview her for the story, and she tells them exactly what happened. A man waved her down. She pulled over to help, and then he stuck his arm through the window and started shooting. And then the forensics team examines the car. They find gunpowder on the passenger side of the car. There's also gunpowder across the back seat, but there's nothing on the driver's side door. Weirdly enough, there's no blood on the outside of the car either. They also find a .22 caliber pistol registered in her name, the same caliber used to shoot her children. And now the police are wondering if she was the one who did it because she said she didn't own a gun, but they don't have enough proof. Then a witness comes forward. Apparently he was driving on that same road that night, and when he saw her car, it was going way under the speed limit, like she had nowhere to be. So this whole sob story is starting to break apart. Meanwhile, she's giving interviews to the media. She's describing the stranger and saying how terrified she was when this all happened, doing a perfect job playing the grieving mother. Then when the detectives are sitting with her for hours, she doesn't shed a single tear. Even when they tell her that her 7-year-old didn't make it, she doesn't care. And instead, she just asks how the other two are doing. Then randomly, she starts complaining that the shooting ruined her vacation and that all the blood ruined her new car. And even though everyone suspects it was her, they don't know for sure until her 8-year-old daughter who survived took the stand and pointed at her mother saying she was the one who did it. And that's how we found out she shot her own children, because she was in love with a man who didn't want kids. This woman is driving her 3 children to the hospital, and she's going as slow as she can because all 3 of them have been shot. Her 7-year-old is dying in the back seat. Her 3-year-old son is bleeding out, and her 8-year-old daughter has a bullet.
Ezoxecola. Los migatitos. 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 Los migatitos.
The woman trying to drink soup, but the spoon is too long that she can't bring it to her mouth. The rule is simple. Take even one sip and you go to heaven. Fail and you stay in hell. Hunger makes everyone restless. Suddenly a man bumps into her spoon. She almost falls into a deep pit, but somehow manages to save herself using that same long spoon. In the chaos, she collides with an old man, and the soup spills onto a man who is already angry. Furious, he snaps the old man's spoon in half. The old man is devastated, his heart sinking. The woman then tries to feed him with her own spoon, but it's too heavy and her hand starts shaking. Seeing this, others begin to extend their spoons. One by one, people step forward to help. Finally, the old man manages to take a sip of soup. Slowly, his face begins to grow younger. That's when everyone understands the truth. They can't feed themselves, but they can feed each other. So, they begin sharing the soup. It was a test all along. The only way to reach heaven was to help one another. For your mom, like the video, subscribe to the channel and write "I love mom" in comments. The woman trying to drink soup, but the spoon is too long.
I kept using a needle to prick the paper, to write in Braille, because I am blind. I was taking an exam. Every raised dot formed my understanding of the world. I wanted to tell my dad about my good results, but after school, all the children were picked up by their parents. Until the last person left, my dad still did not appear. I waited the whole afternoon. A teacher saw me and tried to comfort me. I asked him to call my dad. The teacher took out a razor and pretended to call. I was full of hope, but he told me my dad could not come. 2 days passed. My dad finally came, but he did not want to take me home because he planned to marry a widow, worrying that his blind son would ruin his future. Just then I sensed my dad's presence and slowly felt my way toward him. When I touched his hand, I burst into tears and was afraid that he would disappear again. When I returned home, I gently touched my sister's face, and I saw my beloved grandma. Then I gave them the gift I had prepared at school. When I walked into the wheat field, I ran my fingers over each grain of wheat, trying to perceive their colors. Next day my dad took me to the seaside. I did not realize that. It was part of his plan. He planted a stick in the sand and tied a rope letting me follow it forward. Then he quietly left. I heard the cries of crows and felt danger, so I stood still. In the end, the tide did not take me away. Then Dad took me into the forest because there were dangerous animals. Fortunately, a walker found me. Dad sighed in disappointment, but he did not give up. He took me to a strange place. I realized something was wrong and tried to run away, but he caught me again. Then my dad sent me to a blind carpenter to become an apprentice. When the carpenter placed a piece of wood in my hand, I burst into tears, thinking even my grandma had forgotten me. But what I did not know was that, after my grandma heard it, she came to look for me alone and fainted from exhaustion. Not long after one night, grandma left me forever. My dad's dream was shattered. Because of this accident, that widow cancelled the marriage. My dad had to come and take me back from the carpenter. On the way back, we crossed a wooden bridge. It accidentally broke. I fell into the rushing river, but my dad hesitated. Then he jumped in after me. When he carried me back to land, my hands turned golden. Finally, I felt like I saw the colors of heaven. I kept using a needle to prick the paper, to write in Braille, because I am blind. I was taking an exam. Every raised dot formed my understanding of the world. I wanted to tell my dad about my good results, but after school, all the children were picked.
Here's the best trick to winning rare brain rots in duels. To use the new trick, you're gonna want to grab the brain rot you want to steal, go to the top of the stairs where you see that little pinch, and then you're gonna spam jump at it, like that. And it should catch them off guard and let you take the brain rot you want, without them having a chance to react. Here's proof of me using it in actual duels. Wait, watch this trick, ready? Watch this trick. Oh my gosh! No way that actually worked! No way! No way! No way! No way! Oh my gosh! No way! Look at you! Oh my god, let's go! Here's the best trick to winning rare brain rots in duels. To use the new trick, you're gonna want to grab the brain rot you want to steal, go to the top.
Trulimero Trulicina. Aquanaut.
Top of the
He woke you up.
With every bite of his mom's cooking, a strange string of numbers would appear before his eyes. But oddly enough, whenever he ate takeout, the numbers never showed up. Only with meals cooked by his mom's own hands would the numbers keep decreasing with every meal. He thought something was wrong with his eyes, so he went to the hospital and took all kinds of tests, but the results all came back normal. It wasn't until he ate his mom's cooking again that he realized the decreasing numbers were no illusion at all. One night, he saw his late father in a dream. His father told him the numbers were a life countdown. Once they reached 0, his mom would leave him. Before leaving, his father reminded him that fate could be changed. When he woke up, he kept those words in his heart. To protect the time his mom had left, he decided to stop eating her cooking. He tried every possible way to keep her out of the kitchen. He took her out to eat every day, but before long, his mom couldn't handle the cost. So he came up with another plan. He decided to apply for college in Seoul. He thought if he lived far enough away, he would never have to eat her cooking again. Soon, he was admitted to the university, but there was no joy on his mom's face, only sadness and reluctance. Deep down, he also wanted to stay with his mom, but her countdown had already dropped to 138. 15 years later, fate played a cruel trick on him again. He was diagnosed with stomach cancer. The doctor said he had at most 3 months to live. In the days that followed, he decided not to go anywhere. He would stay by his mom's side every day and eat every meal she cooked. The days were quiet and warm. The only thing changing was that string of numbers steadily decreasing. That night, he ate the last meal his mom ever made for him. The numbers that had followed him for 15 years finally stopped at 1. At last, he agreed to undergo surgery. Before being wheeled into the operating room. His mom held his hand tightly, reassuring him over and over not to be afraid, but his heart was still filled with fear. He was scared he would really leave his mom by herself. Fortunately, the surgery was a great success. He woke up safely. Even the doctors said it was a miracle. He recovered and was discharged from the hospital soon. The first thing he did after returning home was to make a bowl of beef soup for his mom. It was the first time he had ever cooked for her. He closed his eyes nervously, afraid the numbers would turn to zero, but instead, the numbers started to rise. In that moment, he finally understood that what could truly change fate was never running away. He could never keep his mom by avoiding a single meal. It was about cherishing every meal she made and eating it with all his heart. With every bite of his mom's cooking, a strange string of numbers would appear before his eyes. But oddly enough, whenever he ate takeout, the numbers never showed up, only with meals cooked.
My mom reminded me never to turn my back on a lion. Suddenly, a white lion pounced upon me. My mom was terrified, but I knew it just a joke, because this lion was my best friend. On my 10th birthday, my dad gave me a gift, a rare white lion cub. My family all liked it, but I was not interested. When I was playing soccer outside, the lion cub walked over. It also liked soccer. Then the lion cub tried to snatch my ball. Soon it bit the ball and broke it. I angrily sent the lion cub away, but the lion cub didn't give up. It sneaked into my room and even jumped onto my bed. The lion cub deliberately chewed on my pillow. I finally accepted the lion cub and began feeding it milk. After that, we became close companions. To make the lion cub happy, I made a toy for it. Sometimes two of us even played tug of war. During my time with the lion, I became more cheerful, but when I went to school, the lion cub was locked in a cage. Without my company, the lion cub seemed to lose its soul. It did not know how to get along with the other lions. It was often bullied and became covered in bruises. I missed the lion cub very much. While the teacher wasn't paying attention, I ran out of the school. The next morning when my family woke up, I was feeding the lion cub milk. 1 year later, the white lion had grown as tall as me. It began to wreak havoc around the house. My family were all afraid of it, but in my eyes, the white lion was just a big cute kitty. One day an accident happened. The white lion scratched a zookeeper. My dad flew into a rage. He locked the white lion in a cage. The next day my dad contacted a hunting ranch. He planned to sell the white lion. I was very sad. That night I searched for information online and learned about the tragic fate of animals at hunting ranches. To keep the white lion from becoming prey for rich, I secretly opened the cage and released the white lion. Then I drove away, planning to take the lion to a wildlife sanctuary, but our path was blocked by a shopping mall, so I had to make a bold decision. I opened the window and let the white lion out. Then I walked into the mall with the lion. Seeing this scene, all the people were terrified. The mall was thrown into chaos instantly. I ran quickly with the lion. We escaped through the back door of the mall and entered the African savannah. The white lion was excited. It even began its first hunt and chased prey. Now it was time to say goodbye to my companion. The white lion looked back at me one last time. Under my gaze, it slowly walked into its true home. So do you believe a lion can become a human's friend? My mom reminded me never to turn my back on a lion. Suddenly, a white lion pounced upon me. My mom was terrified, but I knew it just a joke, because this lion was my best friend. On my 10th birthday,
I was about to go to school when I suddenly realized the old man beside me was actually my husband, but he didn't recognize me. He looked confused and turned around and walked away. So after school, I went straight to his house. As soon as I walked in, everything felt familiar. I told my husband that I was his wife. He could not help but laugh when he heard that. He thought I was joking. I immediately ran into my daughter's room, gently touched her face, and said she looked exactly like me when I was young. Then I ran downstairs and saw the memorial photo of me in the living room. I couldn't help but complain. There were so many good photos, but they chose the ugliest one. The father and daughter thought I had mental problems and were about to call my parents. At that moment, the ringing outside suddenly sounded. I realized it was already very late, so I had to leave first. Before leaving, I happily said I would come again tomorrow, leaving the confused father and daughter behind. After school the next day, I really came again, but this time no one was at home. I skillfully found the spare key under the flower pot. As soon as I entered the house, I went straight to the place where I used to hide my private money. I opened the photo album, and happily looked at the once happy family. But when I turned to a blank page, I suddenly realized, in the 10 years after I died, my husband and daughter had never truly been happy. So I decided to do something for them. After I went home, I called my husband, and asked him to meet me at the old place. Before he could even speak, I hung up. My husband didn't think too much about it, and got on the bus to go home as usual. But when he passed that familiar place, he suddenly froze, because I was standing there waiting for him, and the expression on my face was exactly the same as his wife back then. At that moment my husband finally began to waver. From then on, I sent him a goodnight message every day. He clearly wanted to reply, but never pressed send. He even told me not to disturb their lives anymore. So the next day, I brought my husband a lunchbox. He tried a bite.
I opened the suitcase. My sister crawled out of it. In this home except for me, all of them were undocumented. Mom said my siblings could not be discovered, and they were not allowed to go outside. We were like mice hiding inside the walls. That room was our entire world, until Mom left some money and a note, and never came back. The money ran out quickly. I went to find Mom's ex-boyfriends. They gave me a little money like I was a beggar, then hurried to cut ties with us. I learned to pick the cheapest food at convenience stores, and to add water to instant noodle broth and boil it again. When my sister Lisa gave me the money she had saved for years to buy a piano, my hands trembled. That stack of crumpled bills felt heavier than anything. But the youngest, Lily, kept believing Mom would return. On her birthday, she insisted on going to the station to pick Mom up. I took her out after dark, her small hand tightly clutching mine. It was her first time seeing the outside world. We waited at the station until late at night. Of course Mom did not come back. Lily took out her last piece of chocolate, and carefully broke it in half to share with me. I wanted to promise I would buy her another box, but I did not even dare to say it. In spring I took my siblings out of that cage. We ran under cherry blossom trees, collected water in the park, and watched children playing behind the school fence. We planted wildflower seeds, believing they would bloom beautifully, but summer came quickly. The power and water were cut off. Hunger and heat made us weaker day by day, until one day when I went out, Lily climbed onto a chair to see when I would return, but she fell and never got up again. When I came back, I only saw her body growing cold. I ran to the street to call Mum. Coin after coin went in, but no one ever answered. In that moment I understood. We were truly forgotten by the world. In the end, I bought many of Lily's favorite chocolates, and put them in her into the suitcase, the same one she had hidden in when she first arrived. We pushed her a long way, to the grassy field near the airport. I had promised to show her airplanes. A plane flew overhead. We completed our farewell. From the very beginning until now, it seemed no one had ever known of our existence. I opened the suitcase. My sister crawled out of it. In this home except for me, all of them were undocumented.
I picked up the chalk and wrote on the ground with my foot. My family thought it was a triangle, so my father drew one for me. I immediately wiped it away with my back. Only my mother understood. This is an A. I was extremely excited, and moved to another empty space to keep writing on the ground. First I wrote the letter M, then the letter O. Just these two letters made me sweat all over. After I finished, I collapsed on the ground. My mother was moved to tears, because what I wanted to write was mother. Everyone was stunned. My father lifted me onto his shoulders, and took me to a bar, probably saying I was his Jesus. I was born with cerebral palsy. I could not speak, only my left foot could move, so I had to be carried everywhere by my parents. But I was not happy. As I grew older, it became harder for my mother to carry me. She put me down, and suddenly felt dizzy. Then I heard her falling down the stairs. I immediately pushed myself up, and moved to the stairway. I crawled down step by step, and reached my mother. I used my only moving left foot to kick the door hard. Luckily, the neighbor saw us through the crack. My mother was sent to the hospital in time, but I was laughed at by the neighbor. Fortunately, my mother was not seriously hurt, and my younger sibling was safely born. But I began to worry my family would ignore me. I did not want to be treated as useless, so I started practicing using my left foot. Finally, I wrote my first word. My family was deeply moved by me. My father made a small cart for me, and took me to play with the neighbor's children. When I became an adult, they prepared a cake for me. Amid everyone's cheers, I blew out the candles. Later, I asked my brother to help me. I dictated while he wrote. We wrote down my story, and published it in a magazine. I earned a full 800 pounds. I asked my brother to put the money into my mother's piggy bank. That night, my siblings and I begged our mom to buy ice cream. When she opened the piggy bank, she found a thick stack of cash. We were overjoyed. Then I told my mother I hoped she could use the money to buy new clothes for herself and my sisters, but she refused, and instead bought me a brand new typewriter. Finally, I want to tell you, family will always be your greatest strength. I picked up the chalk, and wrote on the ground with my foot. My family thought it was a triangle, so my father drew one for me. I immediately wiped it away with my back. Only my mother understood.
I
was a boy who loved dancing, and I could tap dance when I was just born. This shocked my dad very much. When I was still in my mom's belly, I kept practicing dancing. Dad did not pay attention. As soon as I was born, I could call Mom. Mama. My dad excitedly asked me to say it again.
Mother.
This completely scared him. My mom blew up a balloon to make me happy. I also blew hard and my head inflated like a balloon. Mom thought she was hallucinating, since I had superpowers like Loki. At night my dad tried to change my diaper, but I smiled slightly. Then I shot out a 2-meter-high yellow fountain. Finally, I even gave my dad a hot shower. Seeing my masterpiece, I laughed happily. Then I jumped out directly and gave my dad a wonderful performance. That was not all. I started changing my face at will and even ran like the wind. Dad was completely terrified. One day I saw something interesting on TV. I wanted to imitate it, so I lifted my dad up and kept slamming him onto the ground. With a quick flip, I made my dad do a Thomas spin. Even though I was mischievous, my dad still loved me. This made the puppy jealous. At night it dug up a Loki mask. After putting it on, the puppy also gained superpowers. Seeing me playing in the room, the puppy decided to prank me. It took out a toy bomb and gave it to me. The puppy covered its ears, but I was not fooled. I pinched out the fuse and imitated an explosion sound. Then I quickly ran away. The puppy thought the plan had succeeded. Suddenly a bone flew out. The puppy rushed over and caught it with its mouth. But next second, a huge explosion burned it into charcoal. Then I crawled over and shouted at the puppy. It flew up to the ceiling, but the puppy did not give up. This time it made a detailed plan. First it fixed a toilet brush to the ceiling. Then it climbed along a rope to behind me. The puppy hooked my clothes. The other end of the rope was connected to a crane. The puppy planned to plug it in. Just as puppy was excited, I had already come behind it and returned the hook to it. As the power was switched on, the puppy was gone. It was dragged all the way. Then the puppy flew into the machine. Finally, it was flattened like paper. The puppy had to surrender. Realizing something off with me, Dad decided to take me to the hospital. But dismayed Loki found me, so he blocked our way. He even threw a giant grenade. I quickly used my superpowers, turning my hand into a shield to block the explosion. So would you want a super baby like me? I was a boy who loved dancing, and I could tap dance when I was just born. This shocked my dad very much. When I was still in my mom's belly, I kept practicing dancing. Dad did not.
I dug my mom's grave with my bare hands. I couldn't help but cry. Then I lay on it and fell asleep. When I woke up, my arm was broken. My dad drew a puppy on the plaster. He told me my mom had gone to heaven, but I just stared blankly. So my dad took me to the scene of the car accident. That was when I realized I would never see my mom again. I cried sadly again. My dad tried to comfort me, but I still wanted to see my mom, because I had heard a fairy tale that God could bring people back to life. Next day I went to the top of a hill and spread my arms praying to God, but Mom did not show up.